The Congo is a region in Africa that is now known as the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It is right above Angola and Zambia and under the Republic of Central Africa. In the year 1877, the Belgian Empire led by King Leopold II invaded the Congo territory in order to establish a Belgian colony that used to be called as the Belgian Congo. This territory had been assigned to Belgium in the Berlin Conference called by the German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck in the year 1884. The Belgian Empire exploited the poor native people in order to extract as much rubber as possible. This period was characterized for an enormous violation of human rights and an extremely large amount of dead people, which were more than 10 million. This continued like this for a very long time until the native people of the Congo decided to fight back the Belgian Empire and obtain their independence in 1960.
Although there was a lot of increase in economy, the means to obtain all of this power was really illogical and really bad against the native people, damaging everything in their lives. First of all, the Belgians asked for payments to every village. They needed to pay the quotas of rubber, whose processes of extraction were very harmful, and these processes were created in basis of rape, arson, and looting, and if a village didn't want to pay the quote, the complete village was taken down.
The main ideologies that took place in this period were imperialism and nationalism.
Let's talk about the ideology, imperialism. But what is imperialism? It's a policy of extending a country's power and influence through a colonization, use of military force or other means, and through expansion obtain military, economical, and political power. It is based on the use of power against others by exploitation of people and materials, and is considered a non-human ideology. Some of the characteristics of imperialism are authoritarian government, oppressive rule over others, more violence, no freedoms, no major rule, and unempire rules. Also, there is no voting, unstable politics, stable economy, and no freedom of the religion. Also, the power is inherited. As types of imperialism, there is the colony, an external power imposes the government and there is no self-rule, and also the protectorate, where the internal power is used as a government but the landowners are the foreigners. Some imperialism thinkers were Joseph Chamberlain, an English thinker that appropriated the term of imperialism. He was a British businessman, radical and imperialist. Also, Vladimir Lenin. He was a Russian 20th century thinker that criticized imperialism as a major form of capitalism. Another thinker was the King Leopold II of Belgium. He was a Belgian king during the Belgian Congo. He supported imperialism ideology and that led him to obtain new territories in Africa. This ideology emerged in the 19th century, when the European powers wanted to spread their empire by creating overseas colonies. In 1885, in the Berlin Conference, the European powers sliced Africa, and Belgium obtained the Congo. Characteristics as the authoritarian government, the oppressive rule, the violence can be seen in this event. In the Congo, all the native people were treated with violence, and they had no freedoms. The government was authoritarian, and they committed the oppressive rules.
Nationalism is simply loyalty and devotion to a certain nation, and by definition, it is exalting one nation above all others and placing primary emphasis on the promotion of its culture and interests. What are the main characteristics of nationalism? First, people are attached to their native soil, then they receive their traditions from their parents, and they want to have their own territorial authorities. How are the characteristics of nationalism related with the Belgian Congo? First, the Congolese felt attached to their native soil, not to the Belgians. Then they wanted to keep their traditions instead of losing them to adopt the Belgians' customs. And third, they wanted to have their own local authorities. How is nationalism related with the Belgian Congo and its independence? First, nationalism was promoted in the speech of 1950, requesting the end of the Belgian government in Congo. Then, the creation of the Abaco Party, defending nationalism and the definitive independence of Congo. Third, fall of the municipal elections of 1957, which raised the autonomist and nationalist feeling of the Congolese. And then, who were the main nationalist leaders in the Belgian Congo? First, we have Patrice Lumumba, who held the recognition of the Democratic Republic of Congo by Belgium in 1959. He was the first Prime Minister of Congo. And then we have Joseph Kesabubu, who was the leader of the Abaco Party, held the inauguration of the Free State of Congo to then become its first president.
After almost 83 years, in 1960, the Congo independence finally took place, and the first Congolese Republic started. Even though they achieved their freedom from Belgium, the Congo crisis began. It was a stage in Congo's history fighting against their lack of government competences and a huge economic struggle after Belgium's regime. In this stage of history, there were plenty of confrontations between native tribes in which plenty of native people died. There was also an economical crisis, as most of Congolese citizens had no job, but if they did, they were simple jobs, as there was non-Congolese graduate from college. In political topics, there was a tremendous political violence and severe economic mismanagement. The few political potencies they had, such as Moise Zombe and Patrice Lubamba, had different political theories and cross ideas for the development of Congo's economy. This problem affected immensely Congo's history, as it was also a consequence of the Katanga secession, which was a place of Congo with the most of natural resources, like gold, copper, and uranium. 5 years later, the Second Congolese Republic started, being one of the most brutal, corrupt, and dictatorial regimes of Africa for the next 30 years. Both of these republics affected Congo, as they still face violence in the eastern portion of the country, as well as political, economic, and social instability throughout. Even though Belgium lost such an important part of their empire as Congo was, we can say Belgium was the most affected part of this. Now, thanks to the Belgic Empire, Congo is a developing country which, even though is very unstable economically and politically, it is still trying to gain the status they once wanted and fought for. Imperialism is one of the causes for the world to be as connected and civilized nowadays is. Thanks to the Belgian imperialism, Congo is one of the countries with least human development, as the Belgian regime took advantage of this region.
We can see that imperialism shaped today's world in the fact that there was an enormous clash of cultures in all the colonies of the big empires, especially Britain, which made that some countries like India now speak English. Also, nationalism shaped today's world in a geopolitical way. It made all the colonies become independent.
And gave an economic push to Belgium and took it into what it is today, but it influenced very negatively to the Congo territory, creating a lack of stability in every aspect. So thanks to the lack of progress that they live, now they are trying to go on and create the Congo as a better country.